Oh, shit.
Hear me okay? Sorry about that. Didn't mean to
No,
scare you there.
no, you're right. It happens really every time.
Yeah, no worries, man. All good.
Hey, you going, bro?
Good, man. How about you?
Yeah, good, good, good. I'm
Mhm.
Rowan. Should introduce myself. That feels polite somehow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. Nice to meet you. I'm Leigh. You already know that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
You want to get stuck in straight away, or
Yeah, whatever's comfortable for you, man. No worries.
how's your day going?
Good, man. It's going good, man. Right in the middle of it. Obviously, what time is it your way?
It's 8 a.m.
8. Oh, so you're just getting started here. I'm ending
I,
my day about 5 p.m. my way, or 6 p.m. something like that.
I am not.
Early evening.
I am
I
not.
love. Oh, you, dude, I'm not either, man. I hear you on that. I hear you on that.
What time do you usually get up in the morning?
Well, it depends, tour between 10 a.m. and noon, but when I can, more to the noon would be good. That's a winning day for me.
Well, obviously you're doing a couple of interviews today, so I won't talk about what time you wake up. The whole time that I've got you.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. With some more stuff to talk about instead of that.
yeah. Well, let's talk about what remains.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. I had to listen to it, and it's gotten heavy, man.
Yeah, I love that, man. I mean, it's just a new era for pop evil. It's just about pushing the boundaries. Obviously, we're in a great spot where we things were starting to progress that way. You take a look at 2017, our self-titled album had Waking Lions. I know I was trying to find the right producers, the right people around the band that could really get more of and not just the heavy music, but the heavier themes, the heavier out of my vocal, and took a few albums to find the right people, the right obviously, the band took some changes. COVID happens, the pandemic happens in the middle of that, so it just became a little bit easier after COVID because just a lot of anger in a lot of people, and it just comes out, including myself. It's just like, okay, now it's time, to have more of an evil influence. And I mean, I don't think people understand quite the pop evil name. I think just because you hear the word pop or you hear the word evil, and obviously I'm a melodic singer, so they think it's automatically pop in that. But pop was always a bad word when we were growing up. Our parents, our families were all rock and, metal, probably hard rock. I don't know if they were hard metal at the time, but metal for their era, that's for sure. And they were always like, pop was a bad word. So evil, pop was evil. You know what I mean? So we were kind of almost like, you know, rock and whatnot, metal. That was kind of like those were the things that really motivated us to get up in the morning, listening to the music, listening to the genres, going to the shows. I mean, that was kind of, we grew up very blue collar. So those were the things that kind of got us through the week and allowed us to get through payday and have something to look forward to. So it was just listening to that music or, growing up in Michigan, they're the Great Lakes. So we grew up on the acoustic guitar as well. So being able to, if you didn't have the acoustic guitar, then the cops were going to come and turn it down or they were going to kick you out. So it was like, acoustic guitar, let's roll. And, obviously bands like, in the MTV acoustic era, it was like, the Alice in Chains to the Pearl Jams to the Nirvanas. I mean, the bands that could, rock, but then could break it down and you do the acoustic stuff. And a lot of times you can only get that stuff on that import CD back in the day. So I'd be chasing the import CD or, there with my boombox trying to hit record and tape that thing from the TV, on MTV or whatever it was on the boombox so I could hear it and play it back. So that's kind of how I grew up inspired and certainly now being inspired by the new energy of these young bands. I mean, these young bands, there's just an element now of being in a rock band that's way different from when we started, right? When we started, we were kind of at the end of that party era. Like it was cool to be wasted on stage and get ripped. Now that's not even a question. It's way cooler to be healthy and to sound good every night, right? Fans demand a amount of excellence from you. Their money's tight. People don't want to waste money, man. They want to spend their money on things that mean more to them. And if you only get a couple opportunities to do something for yourself and to take your mind away from the craziness that is your normal life, you don't want to hear a band, that you've been waiting months for and they're all up there wasted and playing wrong notes. I mean, you want to see a band that's like chasing perfection, man, and dialed in and that can really, really give you an opportunity to be encompassed by the songs you love live. And it's really all about that live show to pop people now, man. And What Remains was that kind of perfect step towards, what we're chasing and hopefully, what's yet to come from us. We really feel like the best music is still yet to be written in pop evil. And hopefully this is an album, closer to, what we're trying to accomplish.
Man, there's a lot to unpack there. Great shit, great shit.
Yeah.
Um, Now, so you mentioned that
Yeah.
there's this new energy from a lot of new bands. You want to just, for reference, name drop a couple that are standing out to you at the moment?
Course. Cody from Wage War is a big one. Getting an opportunity to write with Cody on this record, he did What Remains with me. I mean, it ended up being the title of the album, and with someone like Cody, is very inspiring. Obviously they're in such an amazing point in their career, right? Where they're still young, they're still kind of hitting the scene. Obviously, amazing in Australia, great success. I mean, we always knew, before I met Cody, just how great their Australian fan base was, and it's just super cool to see. So getting an opportunity to not only rap with him, pick his brain, but getting a chance to write with him and co-write, it was just awesome. And to see how humble he is, to see how talented, of course. I mean, thinking back where I was in my career, at his point compared to it's just amazing how the hustle has changed for a lot of these young bands. I mean, you have to, right? Like to be able to make it in a music, hard rock, metal way now. Oh my gosh, way harder than it was when we started. And it was hard when we started. So it's just these bands that are making it now really have to trim the fat. They have to be chasing that excellence. They have to be pushing themselves every show, every tour, every album. And Cody's certainly one, not only pushing his band, but he's pushing others. He's pushing me. He's pushing tons of other big bands, that he's co-writing with and helping along the way. And it's just, it's hard not to be inspired about, where, and when you want it, when you kind of want that next generation, and if you don't have that next generation following you, you don't have a career anymore. I mean, at some point, the fans your age or in your time frame, they've all seen you and they have their judgment, whether they like you or not. They may or may not come see you again, but it's that young audience that's every year there's somebody new. It's like that new, it's almost like that girlfriend, right? Like, oh, there's always somebody new and younger coming up. Well, just like a fan, there's always someone new and younger coming up that doesn't know your band, doesn't understand your journey, doesn't certainly hasn't seen you live. So it's so important to kind of learn from those younger bands, I think, to just keep that relevance, understand what they're doing. What are they doing, with technology? What are they doing with their tones? What are they doing on stage to push the boundaries? Why did they have a cult following? And this radio era that we had, we don't, what I mean? And we've been around, we've had so many hits, but it's like, you got to always be evolving. You got to be growing, and fans want new things from you last year or last album than they do this time. So just because it worked last album doesn't mean it's going to work again, now. So it's so important for us to just always be honest, understand what we can do great, and really try to push those things and to achieve something bigger and better than we have before. And certainly What Remains felt like it just was so organic and so natural, and it just was really almost like rejuvenating our senses again. It just gave us a kind of closeness and a camaraderie off the stage in the studio with the band that we certainly have never seen before. I've definitely not experienced it with past lineups and past albums. It just felt special all the way in, and now having it out there, and the way the fans have received it, it's a little bit. I mean, obviously we're still in it. It's only been out since March, so it's still fairly new, but it's very overwhelming. It's new. It's humbling. I mean, even though we've had success on the previous albums, it just seems like maybe it's who we toured with Judas Priest, Five Finger, a lot of metal bands in our early days. It just seems like our fans want pop evil heavy. That doesn't mean that they don't like our ballads or some mid tempo or melodic stuff. I just think there's a kind of a demand for wanting us to push those metal roots or those hard rock roots, and it's certainly time for pop evil to do that. And I think we did early in our career, but I lost my dad somewhere along the way, and I had to get through that. It wasn't tough. I mean, my dad was my mentor. I mean, he was the whole reason why I can do this in the first place. And when you lose kind of that male figure in your life, I just couldn't be dark anymore. I was sick of being angry, and so songs like Footsteps and Be Legendary were written, that just kind of were to inspire me and remind me to just keep doing this, because for so many years, and I think about two or three albums in there, I really, really was at a tough place that I even wanted to do this. I missed out on so many opportunities with my dad, and I know he would have wanted me to do this, so it just, but when you're in it, you're sometimes you're thinking about things that make no sense, right? You're like, why would I not do it? This is what I was born to do. But when you're in it, sometimes the time, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sorry for yourself, you're missing the people that you're close with, and it can be lonely. Traveling around the world, it seems like it's amazing, and obviously I'm not the only one that's dealt with depression in music. It just sometimes it can be real lonely to travel the world, and the people that you want to have with you are nowhere near you. So it's just it just took I think it took took a couple albums, it took a couple situations and album music songs to be creative again, to remind yourself that like, hey man, and I think the pandemic was a part of that too. Like once it was taken away from us, it, you know, a lot of band members that didn't want to be in bands, they left. But the people, the true musicians that really wanted to be here and understood that there's nothing else for us but this, we all stayed. You know, and I think it gave us a brotherhood, a sisterhood for any band members that are still in it that was like, yeah, no, I don't care about if I can make more or less here. I'm going to continue to do this because I need the fans. I can't, it's that fuel, right? To hear that screams and to hear those, you know, those cheers, you know, I mean, I'd love to be retired, you know, but I mean, hell no, it's nowhere in my future. I hope it's a long way from now, you know what I mean? Because I just need that scream. I need that energy from those fans. And you know, not like I have to play. I do like some time off every now and then, but it's that live energy that you get from people screaming and knowing your band. I mean, obviously we've been around now 20 plus years, so to have connections that you've made, you know, all those years ago, and you know, if those fans have been and the stories they have that they tell you at these meet and greets, that you know, the way the songs have kind of been a part of their life. I mean, that it's true blessing every year moving forward. And I'm sure a lot of bands that have been together as long as we have can say the same thing. You know, sometimes it's not about how many people you bring. It's not about, you know, how many albums you're selling. It's about those moments with people, you know, when you can really make that face-to-face connection with someone and be reminded. You know, I was in an interview just before you and the guy was like, oh, you know, your song, Eye of the Storm really affected me, or and I'm like, wow, you know, or I've just found you. Maybe it was when I was listening to Eye of the Storm. I mean, it's like, wow, that's a tangible moment I can visualize in my head. You know, like you can't really imagine it when you're tens of thousands of people and they're all singing your songs back to you, even though that's an amazing high. But there's a disconnect there, you know. So when you can have a one-on-one chat with someone and they have a connection to you or your music or a story of when they saw you on tour, it means more to me now than it ever has in the past. It just I understand that, you know, whether I'm able to have 10, 20 more years or whether I only have one more or two more years to do this, that it just means a little more to me now than it ever has. And I think that's just part of getting older and just growing up and just being more grateful for the people around you, the people component of it. You know, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I want more plaques on the wall. I want like number one records. I want all that stuff. I'd be lying to you. But the reality is you don't bring any of that stuff with you, man. You know, 30 years from now, when I'm on my porch having a grandpa moment, who's going to care about how many people I played with or not? But that moment that you have, if you touch somebody with that song, I mean, that's going to matter a little more, right? It's a little sweeter. So you know, you just those things happen. But this album certainly, there's a level of it's almost like the cover we did, right? And you haven't asked me about that yet, so I didn't mean to rush your questions. But again, sometimes like when you ask me one question, it just triggers all the stuff because I don't think about any of this stuff until I get asked about it because I'm thinking about the next single, the next song, the next tour. That's where your head's at, right? I'm not thinking about, oh, Pop Evil. You know, actually I was thinking about what am I gonna have for dinner here? I gotta figure out I'm gonna cook, get them up, to get it take. I'm not thinking about, you know, like what am I doing the next move in Pop Evil? Certainly not looking back, you know. So when you do, it just triggers all these emotions that come up because again, it's something that this isn't something I do part time, right? This is like something I've been doing since I was 12 years old. Like just first started with a dream. Then it started with booking my own shows. Then it started with shows in front of nobody. Then it started, you know, then you get your record deal. Then you're playing for people. Now you got hit songs. Now you're talking, doing interviews in Australia. Like really, it's kind of a pinch you moment. Like Australia, that is a pipe dream. I remember, and Australia and Michigan has always been romanticized. You see that on TV. It was always like Louisiana or it was Australia, right? You see alligators. I see alligators or I see crocodiles. Like you just dream about it, man. Like it's like, what's the difference between an alligator and crocodile? I just see them. They all look dangerous to me, you know. And they're like, no, that's Australia. You know, like that's a crocodile. I'm like, oh gosh, that makes no sense. Look like an alligator to me, you know. So just you just have all this stuff that since we were kids, you just dream about like Australia, like that seems like it's on another planet. Like I never thought I'd get to go see any of you guys, let alone have fans there. And I remember the first tour. You know, I mean, I think we played Adelaide was my first time. You know, we fly in, and out of all the places to go in Australia that you would tourist to, you would not think you'd go to Adelaide first, right? Because just small, beautiful town, by the way, it's amazing. But you know, you think Sydney or Brisbane or something, you know, like a little more commercial. But no, we're in Adelaide, like we're in the heart of Australia. You know, trying to just trying to get some dinner, trying to dial it in, jet lagged, like you know, like a motherfucker. Like I mean, it is no joke. In Eastern Time Zone, I think it's like by the time we hit the stage at 10 p.m., it's like 8 a.m. Eastern time. So I mean, my voice shuts down like your voice shuts down. Probably if you stay up with your boys playing video games, it's 8 in the morning. You're going to start talking, your voice going to be gone. You know what I mean? So same thing with me. Like we're ready to start the show. I'm like, guys, my voice is turning off for the night. I'm ready for bed. And then of course the adrenaline. I had no idea. We had fans at all, and the fans just came out in full force for us in Australia. And our first time, it was just a little overwhelming. So because of that, I mean, we just had the biggest crush on Australia, and we've been wanting to get back ever since. It's just obviously a lot of variables that have to happen. The right tour, the right promoters got to get us in. The business side has to work. But I know from a band perspective, whenever we start any kind of tour season or album cycle, it's just, when are we going to Australia? You always hear one band member at the back, and the rest of us are like, yeah, when are we going to Australia? Whenever we get around our manager. So hopefully it's sooner than later. I know that we can't wait. Hopefully this is a good sign with all the interviews that I'm doing with y'all, with yourself and your peers. And we can't wait, man. I mean, it's just the show is better than ever. This lineup is better than ever for Pop Evil. We really feel like we're honed in and really shaping in on certainly for the next two albums moving forward. Well, this one included, so three. Just really working on our identity to remind people that, hey, we're going to play metal. It's going to be hard rock. Don't worry about it. Every now and then we might do a cover, or we might do a ballad. But like even the ballad on this record, which is the cover, in a way, that Simple Minds 80s song, there's just something interesting about the lyrics that really resonated with me about how, don't you forget about me. It's just something in life for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how great you are, or how great you think you are. At some point, you will be forgotten, right? Like just how long we can just remind people, just don't forget about me. Whether it's your kids, whether it's your friends, like just remember, I'm here barking at the rooftop or on the mountaintop, just like you are. You know what I mean? Don't forget that I'm here too. And I think that, lyrically, there's a lot of truth to that like where we're at in our career with 8 albums, it's just like, I am what remains. Like at the end of the day, like strip me down, like crucify me, put me on the cross, burn me, axe me, whatever you want. But like, I stood for something just like you did. What legacy do you want to leave behind? What kind of language do you want to leave behind for people to remember you by? Whether it's one person, two people, your family, or whether it's legions of people. Like, how do you want to be remembered? And I think lyrically, as a lyricist too, you want to write songs that can connect with people. But I think before you can do that, you have to understand how to connect with yourself. And this album, for the first time in my career, I mean, there's been moments, I think, on albums past that, bits and pieces of me, but this album is me at the stake, vulnerable as can be. So much of the things that have pissed me off, so much of the things that I've celebrated about this business and struggled with in this business, it's all there. I mean, being in a band, it's like a marriage. You can't, when you start a band, you wish everybody's going to be there to the end, but somewhere along the way, people come and go. Music comes and goes. Sometimes you write great songs. Sometimes you write music, it sucks. It's just about the one thing about music that's unforgiving, man, is fans don't give a fuck about that. They just want a good song. Whether they hate every one of your songs today, you write that one good one, you're loved. And I think that's what's awesome about music. Like you have to prove it. Like you have to write that song that can change and that can make that difference for you. And until you do, you're scratching and clawing. And I've been lucky enough to write several hit songs, but it's all about what you're doing today. What you're doing for me lately. I mean, nobody cares about that song yesterday. They care about what you're doing today. So it's just important to keep fighting. And we really feel like there's a lot more still to fight for Pop Evil and for our fan base, a lot to prove. And we certainly are trying to walk a little closer together as a team, as a unit, as brothers, and hopefully deliver that. So what remains feels like a step in the right direction for us, and hopefully we can use this momentum moving forward for the future albums.
Yeah, fucking oath, dude. You answered literally every single one of the questions that I have written down. So
Love it. I love it.
I didn't feel the need to like jump in at all.
I love
Like
it.
I've got like a dozen
Yeah.
questions in front of me, and
Well,
you
we
just
can
like,
talk about what time I get up in the morning. Then we're good. No, I just kidding.
no, like that's pretty much where I like to end these off. Like where like
Love it.
I like to give you 5 minutes between the interviews. So
Yeah, yeah,
pretty much where I like to leave things off. Like
yeah,
everybody has like one thing that they're really into at the moment that you never get asked about in interviews. Maybe you just bought a
yeah,
boat, or like you've just got a new
yeah,
dog.
yeah,
You just watched the new season of Andor. What's your
yeah. Well, I've been doing a lot of real estate, like so. We've been doing a lot of flipping, and when I'm not, my homies are, so I'm involved with it. I mean, I'm partners with them, so I've been really trying to dive into anything but music because keeps me fresh. I mean, obviously golf. I golf a lot. You know, I mean, I'm probably a bogey golfer. I'm not really. I like to think I'm okay, but I'm not gonna like. If you can really go, I'm not gonna beat you with that. But it's just fun, man. Like things that I try to be a little more excited about things that like aren't music related because music is such a big part of my life that when you tour, you're gone for months at a time. That if you don't learn to do something, next thing you know, the years just go by. You know what I mean? And it's so important for me to even mowing the grass, man. Like I never got to do. It's funny. My manager called. He's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm mowing the grass, bro." He's like, "You're mowing the grass? That's hilarious." Like, yeah, you must be joking. I'm like, "No, dude. You say what you want, mock me all you want, but dude, I've been craving to mow the grass since I signed my first deal, you know." And then because I'd always have to have be gone away from your house, and you got to pay someone to do it, which I hate. Just kills me. You know what I mean? Everyone else gets. I got to pay someone to have my fun. I like the yard. I like my yard like most dudes do. I like to do it myself. So stuff like that, But other than that, pretty boring, man. I've only been home. I've only been off for 2 weeks, so I haven't had a lot of time to do much other than pay some bills and try to get caught up. But I'm excited for the summer. We're doing weekend Wario stuff, so we're gonna just play on the weekends and then be home during the week. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of dynamic rolls. But we did it a little bit last summer. It was real great. But again, we're really pushing to get your way. We want to get to Australia. We want to get out of the U.S. and keep touring. And I know there's a lot of countries, but especially in Australia that are really looking forward. We get a lot of messages daily. I get overwhelmed. I try to keep track with as much as I can, but it's a lot of people from around the world now that are wanting to see us get out of the U.S. and come their way. So I'm hoping that between the managers and the booking agents, we can figure out how to make that happen and get it done. Because certainly the last time we were there was addicting, and it's been way too long. I think it was 2017, maybe. So, or maybe it was 2018. So I know that. With 2019, see, it's even blurry to me now. So it just feels like even longer. But yeah, 2019. So it's just we're due. So I can't wait to get dialed in with that. And I know that even walking around the Sydney Opera House. I think we're in Melbourne too. I missed. I went down to the shopping center, and the guy said there were a bunch of penguins at the beach there, but near the venue where we were playing. So I missed the dang penguins like a moron. I should have done that. You know what I mean? So I got some revenge I wanted to see, and I wanted to go to the Australia Zoo in Brisbane. Didn't get. I wanted to see the Great Bear. I'm such a tourist, man. Like I'm such a tourist. So I know next time in Australia, and they were real good to us who brought us. They were great at kind of letting us see and getting to see as much as possible, but it still wasn't enough time. So we're really hoping that, get a week on to tour and then, get maybe a week there to spend in Australia as well. And the great beaches too, I haven't even been able, I didn't get to see them. So it was just in and out. So hopefully get an opportunity to do a little more tourist stuff next time we're your way as well.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. My only recommendation is don't go to the Luna Park in Sydney, too touristy. There's a Luna
Oh yeah,
Park
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Melbourne that
We,
sucks.
well, we went. It's funny you say that. We went to Luna Park, but it was closed. So it was at night. It was right after.
Yeah.
I think where we it was after the show maybe, and the tourist there that was taking it. Or the tour guy was like, "Dude, you got to see Luna Park." I'm like, "That is the creepiest looking clown at the
Dude,
front of it that I've ever seen, man. That is so
dude.
crazy. This looks like it's in a movie. It's like a murder movie mystery, and someone's like trapped in the. Someone kidnaps you and takes you to that park. But
This
it
is
was
set in
awesome. It was
like
sweet.
the
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. For
Oh
some
yeah, 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 yeah. That's
but
right. That's right.
like the one in Melbourne is like so you got the good one in Sydney. The one in Melbourne is
Yeah.
just like on a city block. Like the VIP
Oh,
section is like a bus up on cinder blocks. It's
oh
like
my
fucked. It's
God.
actually it's you gotta check it out.
Oh,
It's
I
so
gotta see
funny.
that.
It's so funny. Like
And
one's
that's still
heritage
open to this
listed.
day?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
open. Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, one of them's heritage listed and like a big
Yeah,
tourist thing. The other one,
yeah.
there's a bus on cinder blocks, and that's where they have like all the like hens nights.
That's crazy. I'm gonna have to Google that, man. I gotta see that right now.
That's fucked.
I
All right, well, thanks for your
love it,
time,
man.
man. I'll give you a couple
Yeah,
minutes off between your interviews. Get yourself a coffee or
I
not.
love it.
It's pretty late over there, but yeah. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, I hope to do this your way. Hopefully, you can do it in person next time, man. We get your way, man. So thank you so much for having me, and have a great rest of the day. Wait, is it winter your way?
Yeah,
Start
yeah,
of
yeah,
it?
yeah. Yeah,
Winter.
no,
I was like, have a nice
it's
summer. I'm
fucking
like, oh,
summer, bro.
yeah, that's right. Because you look, I was like, I said, have a nice summer last time. I'm like, oh, dude, it's not summer y'all way. It's this winter, So, but winter, a little different winter you have than in Michigan. I get the
Yeah,
blizzard,
no
brutal,
shit.
but
It's like it's
horrible.
actually sunny outside.
Yeah, see, you can still go a bathing suit on a, you still get a tan out there for your winters, at least for some part of it. But
Yeah, but my house doesn't
again,
have
man,
heating, so it's fucking
yeah.
cold.
Oh, well, there yeah, you need to bundle up then for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. Cheers, brother. Thanks so
Right
much.
on. Yeah, have a good rest of your day, brother, man. We'll talk soon.
See you, dude. Bye.
Yeah, bye now.